Let's see, there we go. Okay. Great, so we've started recording. That way everybody will have access to this that are not attending. I am sorry from our board, we don't have Trisha. I see Cassie and Ashley, so we have everybody else. And then we had a couple members say that they wouldn't be here as well. School comes first, so we totally understand. That's why we do record them and have them accessible in the chat. And then also Sarah from Learner Involvement won't be here as well. She had a prior engagement. But she says hi to everybody. Let's see. Okay, so then let's go ahead and I'm learning how to do this. There we go. Navigate forward. We'll do roll call and approval of the meetings done by secretary. Ashley, I'll go off.
Hey guys, so if you could state your name, you can also do it in the chat if you aren't comfortable with coming off mute. Just state your name and what your, oh my gosh, words are hard today. Like for myself, Ashley Brokaw, secretary. If you're just a student, just say student member.
I'll start, Ashley. I'm Professor Hall, and I am the co-faculty advisor.
Erika Savoy, chapter president.
Clarissa Smithy, student member.
Mary Evans, student member.
Cassie Brune, president-elect.
I think that's everybody. Okay, let me go back to last week's minutes. Okay.
Yep.
So we were, I'm gonna need approval of from two people if that is possible. So let me go over them real quick. This was on the 11th of May at 1 o'clock. Last approval of minutes was Cassie Brune and Erika Savoy. We watched a video on I Am a Nurse. It was a nice little post that went through. We did some NCLEX style questions. We went over the bank, how we are registered with the state and federal paperwork was submitted and fees will start once they're done. We get approval of that. More to come on that today. Expectations is we're going to do $25 starting in August. That's on top of the NSNA fees. We're going to send out a Teams forms for attendance to earn points. We're going to go over that again today. Website, we have an NSNA website and also a Facebook website. We are going to be doing a HESI review sponsored by NSNA. Other professors will be adding to the collaboration. We're going to be gauging in some interest. We did have some interest on the mentorship program that's learning about NSNA, why we are doing this, kind of understanding what Nightingale has to offer for us, kind of having a senior or junior link up with a freshman, kind of helping them figure out how to navigate all of this. We're going to be adding that into the bylaws. We will need to vote on that. Next meeting is today at 1 o'clock. And we had some scholarship winners, which was Erika and myself. We do have the email, which we will also put out again for everyone, and we ended at 1346. I can have approval, please, by two members.
I'll approve.
Who is that? Sorry, I was looking down.
Oh, sorry, Ashley. Mary Evans.
Okay, cool, thanks. I just need a second, please.
I'll second them.
Thank you.
Erika. Real quick, Ashley, before I get going, we did mention the, what else was in there? There was something you mentioned at the end there that we were going to talk about. I didn't make a note. And I didn't put it, it wasn't in the agenda. So I just wanted to make sure that we do bring it up today. What was the last couple of things that you mentioned in the minutes there?
The mentorship program, the HESI review.
I feel like it was one more.
website.
No.
Oh, adding to the bylaws.
That, because if we're gonna vote on that, we need to add that in today. So I didn't
Okay.
have that on a slide, so we'll just make sure we do that before we adjourn the meeting. Okay. Oh, thank you, Ashley. All right. So I wanted to do this. This is just a check-in. I know there's not a ton of people here, but I wanted to just, check in. How's everybody doing? Any questions, anything before we get started that we can kind of address? So I'll just leave it to the floor for just a couple minutes or a couple seconds.
Yeah, my question is, do we get like billed automatically, or is our membership renewed automatically, or is that something we need to stay on top of?
So when it comes to NSNA, it is our responsibility, your responsibility as the member to update that. They can send you reminders. I think they're good for, you can do the year or the 2-year package. So whatever works for you. And then that just gives you access to everything with NSNA. As we will be talking about in this meeting, we are going to be asking for membership dues, and that's just to help this club and organization grow individually.
Okay,
Did that answer your question? Yep.
Yes, it sure does. And I
Mhm.
was wondering, I mean, is there a Venmo, or how do we pay for that?
Going forward, we'll discuss that. Like, at least for this, for NSNA, it's not Venmo. I think it's through their website. Go ahead, Cassie. Did you have more on that?
Yeah, I was just gonna reiterate that we're not taking dues for our individual club until August.
Correct, and
And
that'll be,
So
yeah.
we're like a secondary club off the national club, and there are also state clubs. So depending on which you're referring to, we have never taken dues. We're just starting in August.
Yep, I think she stepped away from her computer. I'm not sure if she still hears us, but yep, just for everybody else. Right now, we haven't taken any dues. We're going to be, but that's in the future in a few months. And NSNA has, to be a member of NSNA, you have your dues for that, and that is our individual responsibilities. Did that make sense? Clarissa?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
did you hear
you.
the last part that Cassie was talking about there too?
Yes, it's about the our dues for our chapter dues.
Yeah, they wouldn't be due until August because okay. You had stepped away, so I wanted to make sure. Okay. All right, so is there anything else that I can answer or help with? Okay, just a nice little check in there. All right, so kind of the same flow. I love it, seems to be fun and exciting. So this is one quote I found: never give up on a dream just because of the time it will take to accomplish it. The time will pass away, by Earl Nightingale. So I just kind of look up these quotes because we just need encouraging things to get us through this difficult time. I know for me, being at the end, I need every encouragement, keeping my eye on the prize. So we all need that. And then the next one I've got: devote yourself, make it happen. You will struggle, but you will overcome your fears. Smile. Don't forget, this is your dreams. Thanks, Professor Hall. And then I do have a video. This is I think it's a minute and a half. Let me know if you can't hear it. It's why I did the PowerPoint live. I'm trying to change that. And if not, I can try to go back and find it and put it in the chat. But it's just from 2023 National Nurses Week, something to encourage us all. Can you hear that? All right. So just kind of something sweet there. All right. And I noticed there was a 7th person in the meeting. If you are just coming in, just go ahead and put your name in the chat so that we can include you in the attendance. Okay, so I've got some NCLEX questions hosted by Professor Hall. Just go ahead and let me know when you're ready to go next, Professor Hall, and I'll let you take over.
We can roll. Go ahead. Thank you, Erica. Hi, everyone. So, guys, we got a total of 4 questions. We have 2 now, and we'll have 2 at the end. We'll first start off with a select that apply question. So we have the nurse is ambulating a client for the first time after having abdominal surgery. What clinical manifestations would indicate to the nurse that the client may be experiencing orthostatic hypotension? So when we're analyzing cues here initially before looking at our answer choices, we look at a couple of things. Ambulating, the client's doing that, and this is the first time after surgery, which is a big deal because now we want to get people up moving. Okay, so clinical manifestations would indicate orthostatic hypotension. So in all honesty, you guys, signs and symptoms of orthostatic hypotension, we're treating the select all that apply question as if it is strictly true or false. A, nausea. B, dizziness. C, bradycardia. D, lightheadedness. E, flushing of the face. And F, reports of seeing spots. So what may you see if that patient is experiencing that orthostatic hypotension? I got B, C, D, F, B, C, D, F, B, D, F. So it looks like BDF for sure. And we have some people in the middle there. Erica, do you want to go to the next slide? And let's see what the answer choice is. Yeah. All right, you guys, we have A, B, D, and E. A, B, D, and E. So B and D were being consistent. No one actually chose A. And then we have E as well. All right. So guys, when we talk about orthostatic hypotension, just first, let's start to think about what is it, all right? So this is when a normal person, you and I, let's say we're getting up, all right? And once we get to that upright position, we see a sudden drop in our blood pressure, okay? So it is very important for us as nurses and even to provide this patient education is that when getting up, don't make those swift movements. So telling the patient to sit up on the side of the bed, just sit there for a while, let those feet dangle a little bit prior to them getting up. No changes with that other pressure. And those symptoms of orthostatic hypotension does include that of dizziness, which I think is one of the more obvious ones, in addition to that of lightheadedness. We also see tachycardia, nausea, pallor, and sometimes they do report of seeing those little black spots, okay? So we look at a drop of approximately 15 between the systolic and 10 in the diastolic. So sometimes you'll have the physician write, okay, I need orthostatic vitals. So we go from that of lying, sitting, and then standing, and we notice a difference between them. In my world in mental health, if you were ever administering the drug clozapine, that is something that the doctor will order orthostatic hypotension. So if we notice at least that difference of 10 or greater, we would have to hold the medication until the physician gives us the okay. Okay. We can go to the next one, Erica. Or any questions on that one? No? All right, next one.
Yeah, in the chat, we're kind of wondering why the tachycardia.
Oh, why we might see the tachycardia? Oh,
Yes,
good question. All right, think about this. Oftentimes, when your blood pressure decreases, we often see that the heart rate increases because what we see there is the decrease in the vascular volume and fluid. So because of that, the heart is pumping more faster and compensating and trying to get the attempt to have the blood going to where it needs to be. So that's why you'll see the tachycardia.
So kind of like dehydration, but not really. Like just thinking of the low volume, and when you have low volume, your pressure's going up. I mean, your pulse is going up. Okay, cool. Yep. Thanks. All right, I'll go to the next one.
All right, the nurse is caring for an infant. Got any peds people in the room? All right. Oh, Ashley, you like peds? Good. No, I don't like them. All right, the nurse is caring for an infant demonstrating diarrhea. So what signs would indicate an early sign of dehydration? Okay. Would it be A, cool extremities? Would it be B, gray mottled skin? Would it be C, a capillary refill of 3 seconds? Or would it be D, a pulse rate of 200? All right, folks, this is what we're thinking about. Dehydration, signs and symptoms of dehydration. Let's think about fluid volume deficit here, all right? That's what we're seeing with dehydration. But we got a little twist here. We're dealing with an infant, okay? And keyword here, it's in bold, is early. So what early sign would indicate that of dehydration for a little baby? All right. A, cool extremities. B, gray mottled skin. Again, C, capillary refill of 3 seconds. Or is it D, a pulse rate of 200 beats per minute? You guys are like, All right. Erica, let's see what my answer is. D. We're going with that pulse rate. Go back, Erica, for me so we can see that. All right, pulse 200. An adult, if you saw that, you would freak out, right? Like, what in the heck? All right, guys, we're talking about babies here, and they actually coming out the womb, that heart is okay, it's going. We look at vital signs are different. So guys, make sure that you are aware of the differences in vitals between an adult and child and an infant, okay? And so we look at that of 200 beats per minute. You can go back to the slide with the answers on it. Erica has 120 to 160 is normal. So when we talk about dehydration, again, I wanted you guys to think along the lines of a fluid volume deficit here. So we got fluid shifting. So that interstitial fluid is now going to that of the vascular compartment. So when the body is able to compensate for that fluid loss, circulatory system just goes a little nuts, all right? Blood pressure goes down, heart rate goes up. Erica just said that in the previous question, right? And then we see those peripheral things that start to happen. So that tachycardia would indicate that of dehydration. Okay. Good job.
Awesome.
I'm done.
Thanks, Professor Hall. Yeah,
You're welcome.
we'll come back in towards the end there. All right, guys. Yeah, I love these questions. It just gets us prepared and thinking, because that's why we're here, right? All right, so some old news. The bank account, which is kind of old and new but it's becoming old news because everything is settled and ready to go. So August dues will be taken, and more on that will be discussed in the new business. Also, old news was discussed last meeting, just in a learner involvement meeting that will have some election information that's provided. And July 15th, we'll submit a bio. July 16th to 30th, we'll submit a vote. And August, we'll announce a new board members. So that's kind of the old news that I have. Cassie, go.
I'm gonna put something in the if I can find it. We got a precious metal award, and I don't know that it was ever announced. So hold on, I'm trying to find. I have a picture of it here somewhere. And I was just gonna share it with everybody. I thought that was a great thing.
Is this something that NSNA got or our organization got?
Our organization got it because we hit 100 members when we were at national. So
Yahoo!
yeah, so I have the award. I have a digital version of it, and I was just I'll place it there. I'm trying to find it right now on my files on my computer. But I thought it was a good time to announce it.
We'll keep an eye out in the chat for it then. Thanks, Cassie.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on to new business. So as we've mentioned and will happen, August dues will start at $25. The reason it'll start at 25 is as we get bigger, we'll probably need to increase those, but that won't happen in my term. But that's just something that we've all agreed, and that would be voted on, and we wouldn't just jump and change, you know, the cost. So in August, for our August meeting, and we'll mention this again next meeting, we will start collecting $25. The treasurer / VP, secretary, whoever's in board will remain control of that. And then that will be for our organization to be able to provide graduation cords, little gifts here and there, maybe shirts at convention, like different things like that. Maybe a convention ticket, sponsor somebody. Another new business is elections. So that's going on right now. We've created 2 flyers, and I've put them in the PowerPoint so you'll be able to see what they look like. I also submitted a post onto Nightingale Facebook to try to get the word out as well. I think as we get closer, maybe we'll get some more hits, but we are looking for all positions except for president, because Cassie is our president-elect and she'll move right into the president position. And descriptions of those, I believe, Professor Hall, we've posted descriptions of the positions, correct?
Correct. Yeah, but
Okay.
we can repost it again if we need to. If it's anybody new joining the chat, we can repost it back.
Okay. Sounds good. So that's going on. And then community service, just a reiteration, and also some new business with this. So we are going to have a form, and we'll start this in August as well. It'll be sent to the secretary, and be needs for their area, like of community service, that will be mentioned and asked throughout the meetings as well, because we want to kind of keep it organized and supported. I know Trisha, she's not being here, but she did mention that she wants to make sure she gets some community service done, and she'll donate all that money to our organization. Community Fellowship Award. So there's 2 things here. So one, that community service that you do for NSNA here would also be able to work for the Community Fellowship Award, as long as it does follow under their requirements, which is in a hospital or healthcare organization. But basically these forms, these sheets that you fill out, they would allow us to create a point system, which we are still in the process of creating. So we don't have all that ironed out yet, but these point systems would allow us to basically, create, hey, somebody has the most points, we'll be able to get graduation cords, and it just shows connection and involvement in our organization. So I'm really excited about that. And of course, we all want NSNA cords, right, when we graduate. Okay, next thing is Spotlight. So one thing I do want to kind of put out there is, what would you guys like to see with Spotlight? Something that we were thinking even with Spotlight could be some of our teachers that have gone through, their experiences and can kind of offer an open table to discuss that and speak about their experience. We could also have a new grad come in and talk about maybe a job that they got. I'm sure Amanda would probably come in and talk. I'm sure she would love to do that. I know she's working in infection control right now, so that's pretty cool. But what would you guys like to see with that? I know we kind of fell off of that, and it's probably due to whose responsibility and things like that, but we definitely would like to see that come back. Oh, I was opening it to the floor. Did anybody else want to add anything with the Spotlight?
Clarissa's hand is up. Clarissa, you want to go ahead?
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir Hall. I am wondering about the Spotlight. Is it about what is the function of the Spotlight? Like, is it for the students, or is it for faculty?
So it would be for it would be for the students, be for the learners, and it would mainly be anybody that would that participates in NSNA, because they would see it, but it could be anybody that comes in and sees it. And usually who would hold it would be, or host it would be a teacher, a previous student, a student that's gone forward, but it's to give information about what it's like being a nurse, questions you might have about certain fields. And it sounds like, so you've never seen the previous Spotlight, right? There was a few of them last, I think 2 semesters ago when Amanda was president, she did that. She kind of took over that. And I kind of wanted somebody to do it when I took on, but go ahead. Yep.
And it's
Okay,
even
so-
a nurse too, Clarissa. It doesn't necessarily have to be our faculty. It could be anybody within a specialty that we could invite and just share their experiences. And I think a good thing would be if at all possible. I don't know if we've had any recent graduates to perhaps go through like a nurse residency program, because those are booming lately. And maybe if I don't know if there's someone that can come share their experiences surrounding that, because I had the opportunity to work with some with a program in my local hospital, and I think it's really neat in getting you guys groomed and prepared.
Okay, because I was listening to a podcast. It was a Sigma podcast, and I found it very helpful. There is a nurse who created an app, and it's for nurses, and it deals with self-care. So I thought, wow, this is really interesting. And she actually provides like a service, like maybe therapy if you need that, coaching. Provides tools, maybe some mindfulness tools. You know, I haven't looked at the app, but I just listened to the podcast, and I thought that was interesting. So I don't know if that would be covered in a Spotlight.
Yeah, I think it's kind of free will of like whatever needs to be in there. Like, for example, I think we had a pain control nurse last couple semesters ago. And yeah, I just saw in the chat. So Ashley's going through nurse residency in December. So we definitely, as a postgraduate, would love to hear from you. I won't be here either. So, and I'm trying to get into a nurse residency, but I probably won't be in until next year. That's my plan anyway, because where I'm at right now is where I'm going to stay for a little bit. But yay, Ashley, I'm so excited.
Yeah, they're showing it like you as a new nurse that you have to go through it. That's just how it goes with this hospital I'm at. And they're doing all sorts of things. Like you have to have a certain set amount of hours that you go and sit and do lectures with them and stuff. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Mary, I see your hands up. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Professor Hall, that 3 of the most recent graduates are starting their nurse residency program in a few weeks. And I can reach out because they're all Vegas learners. So 2 of them are at my hospital. So I can ask them probably like in a month or 2 when they get
let's
to
let them get
first
some
part of the
time.
program.
Yeah, to get their feet wet, and that would be good. That would just be really good to provide that perspective.
Yeah, because that's the one I'm going into next spring. And I know at least like the first month is just all like, I hate to say it, like another set of classroom.
It is.
Yeah, because they won't actually be on the floor until maybe August, I think.
Yeah, it is. So
So
guys,
I can reach out to
education
them next time I go back
continues.
to work and be like, would you guys want to come? Because they were NSA members. I'm not sure if they renewed their stuff before they left, but
Okay.
That
they
would
are
be
our
wonderful.
recent graduates.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that'd be great. So, and we're probably not going to get Spotlight going until, you know, the next set
After
of board
election,
members,
yeah,
because
yeah.
we're really focusing on elections and trying to get you guys a good board and things like that. So it's just something that we were doing, and I know Cassie wants to get it back, and that's right. Education continues forever. Gotta love Health Stream. That is so true, Ashley. And, you know, I was thinking, you know, some people might not like to go back to the classroom, but really, I think it would be in a different setting. It'd be in a more workplace employee setting, probably a lot more low key than going to school and having to get your license, right? You'd already have your license. So you're just working to better yourself and feel
sure.
more comfortable and be on the floor. And so I think it'd be great to hear from, you know, some of those people that are going through that. Okay. And then next thing, I'm really excited about this, guys, especially for us graduating soon. Professor Hall has offered her time to help us with a HESI NCLEX review. And I don't know if it's accurate to put every Friday, but I know that the next one we're thinking of doing is June 23rd at 10 a.m. So
Correct.
we'll spread the word, and I'm gonna, I think, make a little picture and we'll put that as well on the Nightingale Facebook page and try to get that out because let's see, Clarissa, I'll read your post in just a moment. But what's neat about this is an idea that came from this is, I know in your 366 class, they do HESI reviews every week. And I found those to be very helpful for my exit HESI. And in general, going forward, we all have HESIs, this big, scary 4-letter word that we have to do. And wouldn't it be nice to just have more information and connection to that? So am I correct, Professor Hall? Is it coming every Friday, or is it just the 23rd that you're planning on doing?
As of right now, just the 23rd. Just
Okay.
The 23rd, yeah.
Okay, so then we'll just, yep, that's fine for that. Let's see. Yeah, I know, 346. Cassie, did you have a question before I read the post for Clarissa?
I was just going to mention that I think these reviews, we were going to try to do them like monthly. And, and Professor Hall, I don't know that she'll do every one, but maybe we'll reach out to other teachers. Just depends what the availability of everybody is. I think that's the idea we kind of had.
Absolutely. And I know, yeah, absolutely. Professor Hall just agreed to the first one. We can try to get others. The spotlight. So Clarissa has a couple so 2 topics she'd be interested in are neurodivergent nurses and nursing when you're grieving. And the reason I'm reading the post is because when we record this, the posts do not show. So we just want to make sure we're reading the chat. And those sound like great topics. We would just need to find people in that. So that would be the challenge. That's usually the challenge, is to find somebody in that. And then how often are the spotlights going to be posted? Are they articles or videos? So usually they're a webinar like this. They're hosted from 30 minutes to an hour. And they might have some
monthly
connections to support, and they were monthly. Yep,
yeah.
They were usually monthly. I think we had 5 successful ones. I'm not 100% sure, but I know but it was not when I was in office. I wanted to continue it, like I said, but anyway, things happen. And Cassie just posted, Remar is offering a free NCLEX review as well. Ooh, I might click on that. I'm gonna click on that. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be a little selfish here.
It is a weekly, and she started last week, and she gives you some like a downloadable book, but you could go back and watch last week's.
Cool. I'm gonna look at that. Okay. So that's all the chat. I don't think I missed anybody in there. So that's the new business. We'll keep moving because I don't want to lose our time here. Okay, so then I guess I have next meeting at July 6th, 2023 at 1 o'clock Mountain Standard. I know we kind of lost track of some people with switching around stuff with the end of the semester. We honestly tried to do that to help you guys, but I think it created more confusion. So I don't think we'll do that going forward. Or at least Cassie, I don't think you will going forward. I would say just keep everything the first Thursday of the month so that way we're not confusing anybody. So before the meeting's not adjourned yet, I just wanted to, so do we need to do that, adding in the bylaws? I know, Cassie, one thing we did talk about is, do we need to add mentorship in the bylaws? Or was that like a spotlight where we could just do it as a supportive program?
My idea was just to do it as a supportive program, and then if we want to add more rules, but I think it should be like, a mentorship sponsored by us. Because I don't think it needs to be until we kind of understand and see what everything is. I don't think it needs to be in the bylaws. I think it should be like the reviews where it's just like a mentorship sponsored by SNA.
I agree. It doesn't.
Okay, I just wanted to, and I wanted to make sure with Professor Hall too that legally that was okay. All right, so then we'll just work on that as a team and try to get that figured out. Okay, so then I have some announcements. So I did look this morning. We have 103 members, so we are over that 100, and yay for getting that award. I'm really excited for that. And then there's just a recap of our email, ncsna@nightingale.edu. The messages are going to Professor Hall, but that she forwards everything to the president and vice president, and also I believe president-elect. So, Okay, so these are the flyers. I thank Professor Hall for making these. So we've got NSNA elections 2023 to 24. If you're interested in running for office, the time is now. And so then this was really hard to read, but I blew up the steps on the next page. So elections meeting is going to be the next meeting, July 6th at 1 p.m. And if you want to be added to the meeting, it just says to invite to reach out to Professor Hall and Professor Wilkinson or myself, President. And then the steps, here are the steps. So you'd want to come, and this is kind of for outside members too that aren't members. So this is a little bit more stuff that you might already be part of and you might not need to do, but you would want to come to the next meeting. And I did not get a chance to fix this before I posted it, but it's going to be Thursdays and Thursday, July 6th. You want to find out what offices are open, which Professor Hall did put in the chat. The form that speaks about those. And then here are descriptions of each. So, and at this meeting, we'll have the runner-ups, right? Is that the plan, Professor Hall?
Yes.
Well, actually, no, because
well, no, not at this meeting. No, we actually won't know until we'll split it here. After the 15th, I will send out an announcement and via this chat who is running, and then you guys will have an opportunity to vote, and that will be announced in the August meeting.
Yep, and all that will be in a form, and it'll be on this chat. So you'll just look for the chat, and you'll be able to vote for your ballot. So you want to make sure you're a member. You do need to be a member to be on the board. And then you want to submit a bio form to the election committee and declare yourself a nominee for office. And I believe, let me just go back. By July 15th, I think that says. Sorry, it got cut off so by 15th, cast your ballot and help shape our NSNA. Voting period is from July 16th to July 30th. And then the official officers will be announced at the August 3rd meeting. Okay, any questions about that before I keep going? I know we have Clarissa and anybody and Mary that are not board members currently. Okay, I'll keep going. So we've got our next two NCLEX questions. I'm gonna mute myself and you take it over, Professor Hall.
Go to the next one, Erika. Read it. My computer is being. All right. So the primary healthcare provider prescribes a dose of intravenous potassium chloride for a client diagnosed with cardiac dysrhythmias. When administering the IV potassium chloride, which action would we take? So guys, the concept we're talking about here is fluid and electrolytes. We got potassium. I love potassium. All right. It tells us the client already has cardiac dysrhythmias. Uh-oh, my mind is going here. All right. So we're giving this medicine. Which action would the nurse take? A, would you inject it as bolus? B, use a filter in the IV line. C, would you dilute it per medication instructions? Or D, you guys, would you apply a cool compresses to the IV site? What are we doing here? So guys, you got to know a little bit about potassium, and while we're talking about it, things that I need you guys to know. You need to know your normal values, okay? We need to know signs and symptoms of hypokalemia, signs and symptoms of hyperkalemia, and how would you as a nurse intervene? And then you need to know basic administration of potassium chloride via IV. And Erika, go to the next slide. I think you guys feel very confident. Let's see. All right, and the answer, you guys, you got it, is C. This is the thing about potassium. It does wonders, but it hurts like the dickens, okay? It is very irritating, and every client I've ever gave it to, they're like, ow. All right?
Clarissa, you don't see the slide? I'm sorry, Professor Hall.
Oh, go ahead.
You don't see the slide, Clarissa? It's going slow.
Am I the only one, or?
I was doing it to mine, and at the bottom of my screen it said sync to presenter, and I had to click that button because I had to log out like 3 times.
I'm having to do that too, actually.
Did you get it, Clarissa? I just don't want to move forward without you.
No. And I don't see that button about syncing. What did you say, syncing?
Yeah, it's usually
Link
at the
to
bottom.
presenter. Yeah.
I don't
Clarissa,
see it.
you
I
may
see
have
3
to
dots.
sign
You may have to
out
sign in and sign
and
out
sign
again.
right back out.
Would
Yeah.
that be,
Okay.
and we'll wait. We'll give you a couple seconds because we still have a couple minutes left.
That
in
means I
the
have to
meeting,
leave, right?
so- It
Yeah,
does.
leave. Yeah,
Okay.
leave
But
and
just
then
come right
join
back in and it should
Yeah.
sync you. And we
Okay.
can go back to this question and that way you don't miss. We can do this question over again, Professor Hall, just so that she doesn't miss it either. She said she was at new business, so. Kind of stinky. Do you see it now?
Hey, there you go, Clarissa.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay. Are you seeing this slide? The primary healthcare provider, the question?
I see correct answer C.
Okay, so you don't
that
see
the-
the previous one that I just went to.
No,
Sure, if when I move it.
maybe I need to leave again.
No, we'll try to. We are reading the question. What do you think, Professor Hall? Should we try to go back? Oh, she left. Let me go back to that one and see if she comes in with that one. I had an issue today with Teams in my previous webinar. I had to log in and log out again.
Yeah, it started acting out for me should say acted out.
Do you see
Not
the
working
question?
right last night.
Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute, Clarissa.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I see that primary healthcare provider provides a dose of IV.
Okay,
Yep,
so we'll
that's
do
it.
that again, just so that way you get that,
Okay.
and then we'll keep going.
Thank
All
you.
right. The primary healthcare provider, again, prescribes that IV potassium for a client that has a cardiac dysrhythmia. When administering the IV potassium, which action would the nurse take? So this is basic pharmacological principles with fluid and electrolytes and safety. So A, injected as bolus. B, use a filter in the IV line. D, dilute. All right, you guys got it. You can go to the next slide, Erika. So yeah, we are looking at C here, you guys. Potassium is an irritant, okay? And it has to be diluted to prevent that phlebitis. And guys, we always use an IV pump. We always dilute it, all right? It is never be, let me repeat, never, all right? You can kill someone. You can cause them to go into cardiac arrest. And that's something that we do not want to do. Most facilities actually have a policy on potassium, and that's the importance of it in regards to the rate and the amount that you are able to administer, okay? All right. And you're right. Ashley, we do like a good telemetry monitor because we want to monitor that. In this case, this patient already has some cardiac issues. We don't want to take him out. All right, next question. A client is receiving TPN. They report nausea, polydipsia, and polyuria. To determine the cause of the client's report, the nurse would assess which client data. All right, so we're looking at TPN, and we see some side effects here. Is it A, rectal temperature, B, a potassium level, C, capillary blood glucose, or is it D, a BUN and creatinine? What are we looking at here, guys? TPN. I like this question. We're seeing some stuff which makes us think that something is going wrong here.
We still lost Clarissa with some of the slides. I'm not sure what the syncing issue is, but
That's all right. I have to move it myself too.
Yep. But
Yeah.
we are reading off the answers, so you are at least
Yeah.
hearing it. But
Yeah, that's what I'm doing is I'm having to click
Listening.
forward myself
Click
and
forward,
listen. Yep.
I had to do that towards the end of my last webinar. It was something with Teams maybe today. But anyway, sorry
Yeah.
about that, Clarissa.
All right. So let's see what the answer is, you guys. Let me see what you got. Roll call. The answer is C. We're talking about hyperglycemia here, guys. And we look at TPN, and it has all of these wonderful nutrients, all right? But it is loaded with sugar, All right, glucose. And if you go back, guys, and we look and we see what's going on here. Now, I didn't get all of my 3Ps right, because when we talk about hyperglycemia and diabetes, we think of what? Polydipsia, polyphagia, and polyuria. We got 2 out of the 3 here, right? We got polydipsia, which means they are drinking like crazy. We got polyuria, which means they're urinating like crazy. Those 2 kind of go hand in hand, right? When we talk about fluid balances, because what you put in must come out. All right. Only thing we're missing here is polyphagia, in which we see them eating a lot and they're trying to feed that sugar. So we don't have that. But we do have that too, that insinuates that of hyperglycemia. So we want to check that patient's blood sugar to see what's going on. And the other food options wouldn't, or other options wouldn't help us at all. I bet it was. I bet it was, and probably bugs will go crazy with that. All right, guys. I'm sorry. I'm gonna leave early. I have a VCBC.
Thank
But
you
take
so
care.
much, Professor Hall. I really
All
appreciate
right.
your time. And yep,
All right.
it's just one more slide. So yes, thank you, Professor Hall, to those questions. She sent those to me, so she made them. Okay, so just kind of similar things that I wrote last time, but I love just keep swimming, because honestly that gets me through sometimes. And just to remember that we can do this. You know, study hard, keep your eye on the prize, make sure there's some exercise in there, spend time with family and friends. And I really look forward to seeing who nominates themselves for elections, because we want to keep going with this club. It's very fun, and I know it can be a little time, inclusive. I can't talk either today, Ashley. But it is a great opportunity. I've made some great friends, and I've learned a lot about how to kind of organize things and set things up, and I know there's more to learn. So I really appreciate things, guys, and so I will adjourn this meeting at 13:47 unless there's any other last minute additions. All right, thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.